Do you think that would work to an artist's detriment?
What?
Just like signing whatever checks that come in your direction.
But I think also artists need to be honest with themselves. And that's one thing I've always appreciated about Ricky. Ricky, when he did the deal, told us I don't drink the product.
Yeah.
I was buying that bottle. You know what I mean? Because when you're honest, man, you're not taking me for a fool.
I don't think the artists, if they could endorse 3 beers at the same time, these would. You know what I mean? Like, they don't care, you know?
What up, everybody? Welcome to another hot episode of the POPcast.
It's another flaming
hot episode of the POPcast brought to you by Flamin Hot Doritos. We did mention it in the last episode that we're going to be spicing it up a little bit here on the POPcast. I'm quite keen to hear exactly what my brother's feeling.
Yo, these are flaming hot. And I'm usually not a fan of like spicy hot food, but I love these. These are fire.
Those are amazing, man. Those are amazing.
Listen,
after a good night, even in the morning, you're good. You need them, Cosmo.
after last night.
Amen.
Just do this real quick.
Oh, it's the nails, huh?
I've been looking at his nails.
Me too,
I wanted to ask him, like, and then...
Now, I don't usually be looking at hands. But you got some nice hands, dog.
Thank you, dog. Just take care of your hands, man. You know what I mean? Have pea-friendly hands, you know?
Shout out to everybody. We do have DJ Sabby right there. We used to be partners out there at YFM. He's found a job now at Metro, right?
Yeah.
It's that new Metro money.
Oh, man. You know I haven't even got the first check there. It's coming.
Fine.
I knew YFM fucked up when you bounced.
Yo!
I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, it was crazy. That was an exodus. How many of us left? Like 10, 9?
At the same time.
At the same time.
But what was going on? Because I tried to get it out of Scoop. Yeah. Scoop was trying to act like he was, you know, PR. Give me a PR answer.
What was my PR answer?
You just said you were ready to move on. You didn't really embellish as to what was happening for 10 other people to feel like they also needed to move on.
One thing I would say is everyone realized their value. You know what I mean? And once people start undermining your value or don't see value, it's cool for you to say I'm out. Because once you stay in a space where you're undervalued, you know, you're just not going to grow out of that. So I think that's what happened to most people. You know?
Damn, Sabby, you definitely should write that PR on.
All right, but talking about value, we are shooting from the Hip Hop Museum at Museum Africa in Newtown. And I think a lot of people also know about the Hall of Fame because they spoke about it some years back. I think it was 2019 when they launched it.
Yes.
It's my first time actually here. I missed that event when they had the launch, unfortunately. So I'm actually quite excited to be here, to see the plaques, to see how hip-hop is being commemorated in a museum, because that's what museums are about.
Okay.
So take the time out, come through,
Museum
stop drinking
Africa.
on the weekend, come check out what hip-hop is actually talking about. You know what I mean?
They've got another side there. I mean, we'll get the cutaways. And also, just want a big shout out to Osmic. You know, in the industry, you don't get your flowers, you don't get your applause. We've obviously given props to Osmic before for the work he's done. Just to reiterate it again, my nigga, job well done on carrying hip hop for as long as you have, and in a very like thankless way that has been done to you. But siyakubonga futhi for umsebenzi owenzayo. Inkosi kakhulu. And also shout out to Hennessy.
We'll give them their shout-outs because they sponsored the Wall of Fame. So shout-outs to them for doing the damn thing.
Sure.
All right, so we are obviously here on the POPcast. We're here to chat about what's good and what's hot on hip-hop streets. If anybody was on the streets of Braamfontein this weekend, I'm sure you weren't able to move around. Bar the accident that happened on the N1, the streets of Braamfontein had its own traffic that we just didn't cover what was going on. Uncle Vinny, you're only 19.
Yeah. How are you a goat at 19?
What?
That's insane. That's insane. But I think it's because a lot of youngins see themselves through Vinny. Like, they can relate, they resonate, you know?
Yes.
And outside of just being a youngin yourself, you know, when you see someone, you're like, that dude, talk to me. I fully understand what it's about. You come through, you support. You know, he's truly being original, authentic. he's an exciting kid. I met him for the first time last year at Cotton Fest. I had to interview him. He's like, yo, Goodman Seb. You know, so he's fanning out, I'm fanning out. You know, it's an amazing moment. I'm like, yo, bro, like you got this amazing wave. And I think yesterday we all got to see it.
Yes.
It felt like I was looking at visuals of Travis Scott's Astro World.
Dude.
When they were standing there and the guards were like, Genani, and the kids just rushed in. Apparently there were a lot of people inside the venue, neighborhoods, but then the thousands
on the streets. If you just see the footage, just the footage of the street alone, I didn't even see what was happening inside. Just the street of Braam was just like, yo, I know, it was going hard. But it also speaks to the fact that people are hungry for festival events again. You know what I mean? And I guess it is a tough time now. We are under COVID, we are under lockdown. So they was.
Yeah, they fire. But another thing about Vinny, you know, in a time where everyone is consistently having a conversation around amapiano and hip hop, Vinny, it represents the melting pot.
Yes.
You know, I think whether you come from the amapiano community, you come from hip hop, Vinny is just that dude at the present moment. You know, I even saw Tira tweeting about it, so you can also bring, you know, the Durban sound into it. So he's like the connecting point to all these moments. And I think it's absolutely amazing to witness this.
We've never seen it like this. And we were talking about this off air. The fact that he's got such a pull, yet broadcasting platforms are still, like, what are they waiting for? He should have been on YoTV a long time ago. Shout out to MTV Base, but I think he needs his own show. Not just a news piece. Sabby was saying, every time he gets at an interview, he said this on pop radio. He wants to get on radio. Like, what are you guys waiting for? What must this kid do? And with that said, also Vinny mustn't wait to get put on. The internet is there. It's time for him now. He saw what he could do yesterday. Makathatha babantu and put him on his own platform. Angalindi to get put on people's platforms.
And especially because we're in an internet age right now. I mean, we saw how he was trending 2 weeks back just for dancing. Now that's already showing how much pull he has just on the internet. So if you were to impart more knowledge, because even with the pop radio episode that we had, so many people were just like, yo, I didn't know this much about Vinny, shout outs. So I think he's got a bigger story to tell. But I do think we also shouldn't pressure him too much, because at the end of the day, he's still 19, still trying to figure out his direction, still trying to, you know, establish himself perfectly. So that, and he's got so much time. You know what I mean? So I think, you know, do what you need to do, but also spread it out. Don't sprint to the end. Marathon run this thing so that you've got longevity for the brand. I think that's what's important. You know what I mean?
Man.
Facts.
But crazy lineup. And I
Shout
think
outs to Major League also for like assisting him, making it look that official. You know what I mean? To be there, getting the venue, getting the bookings. You know, I just think it's great when rally around the energy of this young kid like that. So shout outs to you guys. Sayaz getting a Major League and me posi. I want to he's sporting and it's so I'm going to see my
and we're actually having a conversation with Scoop. I think it's a shout out to Major League. It's like they're running a young incubation program or whatever. They had Foka come through. You mentioned Kamompela, now it's Vinny. And I think that's what we're supposed to do when you get to a certain level, you know, within your career, where you start opening up the door and you just put on all these kids, because that's how we expand the game. That's how we grow. That's how we take it to the next level. So it's just great to see another product that has worked with the Vinnies, co-signed by the Rickies. I can go on and on and on. The question is now, who's next after Vinny? It's great to watch.
But I guess that's where...
next?
I think what's also dope about that conversation is also kind of seeing some of the legends who are imparting some of that knowledge to younger cats. So now we're seeing the likes of MT's obviously got MT Records, where he's got his kids that he signed on to MT Records. Kuli Chana has just recently signed a distribution deal with Universal for his label My Throne Records. And if you know anything about Kuli, you know he's always been trying to put the Northwest back on the map.
Straight up.
And obviously working with some of the kids who are from there. A lot of us even only heard of Maclera because of Kuli. You know what I mean? There's plenty other artists that he's also kind of worked because of that relationship with My Throne. So shout outs to Kuli, because I think outside of him also bringing himself back, also collaborating with young kids. He's just dropped a song with Stino Litweni from the Free State. Shout outs to that as well. And he's got Tyler IC on that song as well. So he's also just, you know, doing that blend of the piano hip-hop vibe also coming through. So I like the fact that the old guys are also saying, yo, we see some talent. KO as well with Loki and Roy. Those two kids. That song with by DJ Mr. X,
Throwing in.
Kyle. And Loki and Roy, I definitely see a really dope future for the two of them, you know? So it's
Straight up.
nice to see that the guys are also, you know, dabbling in a little bit. Which also kind of brings us to a conversation about how people slightly feel about gatekeeping. And I say this
I just wanted to add on the Gully thing before we move on to the gatekeeping, because, and shout outs to, you mentioned MT, Logan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Doing real well on the charts.
The streams.
The streams are going up the roof. Like MT, I have these young kids that listen to new music like on the regular, and really the new artists I should listen to, they put me on to. And they made me listen to the MT album. Like, shout outs, bro. Like, when it comes to Ukwenza Umculo, when it comes to really simple melodic stuff, you are untouchable. With the choruses, Untsoyembu Mfana. And I'm very happy to see the fan base. Standing by their artists, you know? So shout outs to that. Back to the Kuli topic. You know how hard it's been for Kuli, right, guys? Remember when he had that tumultuous time where he wasn't really knowing what he was going to do? And to see him really bullet through that tough time, Abekhona on the other side of the tunnel, I really, really applaud him. Uyambona encumile ngokuba I'm back. You know? So shout outs to you, man. Really, really well done on walking your way back to your throne.
Yeah, man. And I guess maybe that's why even his label, My Throne Records, just kind of speaks volumes about the type of person that Kuli is. All right, so obviously bringing it back to the conversation about gatekeeping, it's one of those things that I think has always just been spoken about, purely because there's a lot of young artists who want to come through, they want to make their mark in the game, but they always feel like something is kind of, you know, closing them off, not necessarily allowing them through. As we've mentioned, there are some big guys who are in the industry who are opening it up. The likes of Major League, who are giving, you know, Vinny his opportunity, the different artists who are doing that as well. But gatekeepers don't only lie within the artists themselves. Gatekeeping also lies within the traditional media that we all work on, whether it be radio, whether it be TV, whether it be just people who have power to allow you to get into the space, but then say, we're not with you today. We're actually gonna, you know what I mean? How are you feeling about that within the space right now? Do you think gatekeepers are the reason we're not getting an influx of new artists?
You know, before we get into gatekeeping, you know, going to the conversation around artists opening labels, you mentioned Skanderworld, Kulichan also opening up his own label. I think it's quite cool because these dudes were artists at some point in their career. There's several obstacles that they had to go through before they got to the level that they're at the present moment. I remember once upon a time when Casper, you know, started, you know, his own label, there were so many other people saying that he's doing it too soon. There's so many things that he needs to go through. And obviously when any label grows, there's teething moments during that process. And you lose artists because maybe the vision is not aligned and people leave and, you know, artists feel like you're not doing much for them because also you as an artist, you're still trying to find yourself and also learn how to manage all these other artists. That's why maybe now he's only got Nadia Nakai. But I think it's very important for artists to open up labels, put people on. You know, make an example. If you look at what Diamond Platnumz has been able to, you know, achieve out in Tanzania, at the highest moments in his career, Diamond was able to shift and change the sound of music in Tanzania by putting on several artists that have now become, I won't say bigger than him, but close to the star that he is at the present moment. Similar conversation we can have about Chocolate City out in Nigeria. But I think it's very important, even us as DJs, open labels, put these kids on, be the bridge between the label and the artist. DJ Drama, you know, he put us to Jack Harlow.
Lil Uzi Vert.
You know, we can go on and on and on. I think it's very important for us to support these artists that are opening up, you know, labels. Yes, they might not get it right. 3 years ago, I was interviewing KO. He was like, he's never going to open a label. He's not going to do this. He's just going to focus on himself after the money he had put on all these other artists. Fast forward to 2021. He's got a couple of homies there.
And that I think is also just a bigger conversation that also needs to be focused on, because in and as much as we can give the props and say shout outs Kuli, shout outs KO, shout outs MT, shout outs to everybody else who's putting artists on, even the likes of Casper. Yes, it might have felt a little premature at the time that it happened, but would we be paying attention to a Nadia or a Tsecho or a Gemini if it wasn't for
that time?
You starting at that time?
Got you.
And outside of that also, I think there's a lot of miscommunication, in my experience of speaking to the guys, is what the actual purpose of it is. Because I think everyone is just like, yo, I want to be rolling with KO to go to all of his gigs. And then KO's like, sharp, I'm booked for a gig. You also need to then use this team that I'm creating and the resources I'm giving you to do things on your own as well.
Showcase.
And I think that's where the disconnect kind of comes in for the artists, because then they say, nah, nothing actually happened for me at this and this label. And then it's like, okay, but what have you done with those resources to take yourself to the next step?
Showcase.
And that's where the miscommunication kind of jumps in as well. And I think artists also need to understand that's also a big factor, you know?
And also it goes to, I genuinely feel like in the game at large, we have all these artists that have great ambitions and things that they want to achieve. But outside of the artists, I still think we need like lots of managers that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm excited to see what KO was able to do with Kanderworld, moving Gobs into label manager. For me, that's what you do when homies have been around, they've been learning, and also they've been developing, talking about resources. That's how you empower. You give dudes new responsibilities. You let them learn. You let them, burn their fingers, burn their feet, because I still generally feel like in the game, we got all these dudes that are just calling themselves managers, calling themselves road managers. Artists are still late for interviews. Communication is still bad between, the booking agents and the promoters. We need a lot of managers within these labels to support these artists to make this thing happen. Because there's a big gap.
That 1,000%, bro. I think we have a very nice little pool of artists now. And we got a great future in artists that are springing up. And we have talked about that on the show. Right now, especially when we're talking to Zeus Omega, we need more youngins who wanna, or not even youngins, but we need more people on the managerial, side of things.
Yeah.
Not just only wanna be in the forefront of being an artist. That's one thing I wanted to say. Secondly, are we still on the subject of gatekeeping?
We are. We can bring it back.
Yeah.
I never understood what the that shit meant.
Yeah.
I honestly, because when I look at an Aries, when I look at a Blackie, is a great example. Like, if uzawahamba ucabanga ubu gatekeeping, i-career yakho now izawahamba lo hlobo. If you're putting your mind and your creativity already in a space of, I gotta deal with gatekeepers and not thinking, I gotta get fans. I don't understand that. I really, a comdu who sits, even if someone says don't play his song on radio, even if someone, abantu have phones, abantu stream, abantu have TikTok, maingoma yako ishisa, he will hear and know about it.
Whether you like it or
not.
You know, when it comes to the conversation about gatekeepers, I think we are now living at a time where the old method or the idea as to who the gatekeepers are is slowly changing. I say this because we're now living in an era where we're seeing more one-hit wonders and more of these fly-by-night superstars that are coming through and coming out of the game. It's because the fans, the audience, have the power than the labels at the present moment.
Yes.
They are now shifting the mood around the room as to how everything is going to go. Back then, we had to wait for the gatekeepers, us as tastemakers, the people with an opinion who have these platforms to tell the masses what is next. But now the conversation is shifting where you look at the numbers, like the Blackies will be pulling out crazy numbers. MT is not signed to any big label, top of the charts, The fans are the ones who are telling the gatekeepers on who to let in. So even for A&Rs, it's totally different right now. Like the fans are truly the ones that are in power. It's democracy now. And it's an exciting time because if you now work for a label or if you are working with an artist, you really need to make sure that the fans f with you more than you make any label f with you.
Straight up, man.
100%.
I second that.
And I think also with the artists as well, they also just need to kind of place themselves in that position to then say, whether you like it or not, I'm running with my homies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is what it's about. And I think also just kind of looking even at this wall of fame that we've got here, a lot of these people are on this wall because they weren't gatekeepers. They were the ones who were opening it up, who are making hip-hop happen. And I think it's testament to the fact that we can lend a hand, we can grow this game, we can make the culture, go to the next level if we actually just put our egos to the side because that's the biggest issue with when it comes to gatekeeping.
Yeah.
It's angimfuni lo muntu lo
Yeah.
because ungithukile lapha last week eklabhini. And now it's like how now I must be blocked just because you felt like a little disrespect. Dog, it's about the game at the end of the day.
Sure.
It's not even about you and your little feelings.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
But I think the gatekeeping thing is not going to die anytime soon because dudes bring their emotions into business. You know, just to bring another industry, we hear it a lot in the acting community how people are blackballed.
Yeah.
They'll say, yo, Scoop did this to so-and-so.
Yeah.
Fuck Scoop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You come for castings, you know, they don't even record when you do an audition. Do what
I
you do,
haven't
then you
heard
leave.
that.
Yeah, no, it's real. You know,
Are you going into acting?
no. I do acting, but I normally do myself. You know what I mean? Like as a Sabby.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just double checking.
I didn't know that, sir.
Yeah, no, it's real. Gatekeeping is so real in the industry, and it's people who have personal vendettas against you, you know? Hence, I always say, just be nice to everyone, man, because the kid you mean to, you know, today when they're trying to get your attention, fast forward 3 years from now, they could be the one
man.
signing your check.
Is it different then with acting gatekeeping? Because I can see where if I'm a casting director on a soapy, I can see how that can affect and that be like, no, I'm not hiring you. Then that casting director talks to another one and spreads the rumor about you, whatever. But with music, you're not being hired.
Yeah.
So it's like the fan with their ear is hiring you.
Yeah.
So I can see how it could be a problem in the acting fraternity.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
You know, even in presenting, I was blackballed for a while in presenting because, but I can see how that happened. And I felt that blackball.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah.
But with music, I really feel like it's actually like an open field where you have the opportunity to embarrass the so-called gatekeepers.
Yeah.
Because when you look at MT, for example, guys, MT, every time he gets to another level, something happens. You know what I mean? Like Logan reached #1 on the charts, is doing some amazing stuff. All of a sudden, he lost his Instagram account. How?
Sure.
You know what I mean? And we don't have to put any names to it, but there's always another hand at play. MT will get to a totally different level. This thing pops up.
Sure.
Or a scandal breaks out.
Sure.
You know, so the gatekeepers are real. It's just that they play their game totally differently. Like, they flex with power. So I genuinely feel like the gatekeepers that exist right now are the ones that decide who goes to the next level. So
not
the
which
fans,
music gets played,
exactly,
but who goes to that corporate money level.
Exactly. So the fans are going to let you into the room. You know, we will talk about you, we'll play you on the show.
True that.
But the people that sign the checks,
True that.
like those are the people that are going to say, yeah, he hot in the streets, but
And give him time, man.
yeah.
And the sad part about that corporate money is that for them, it's also an ego game.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't think that it would be an ego game because you're like, but dude, you work in an office.
It's not your money. It's not your dad's money.
It's not your dad's. But because they have the power to control who signs it and how much gets signed off, that's why for them, they feel like, oh, when you don't even know who I am. It's like, dude, how am I supposed to know who you are? You're not an artist.
But then it goes back to what I was saying. Like, we need managers that are able to walk into these rooms and talk on your behalf. You know, because if you have a great manager, they're able to go into the boardroom and say, yo, this is who I'm representing. I know this is 1, 2, 3 that you've read about him. And possibly there's one person who's going to tell you, this is how I feel about Scoop in passing. Some of those jokes you need to follow up on. Like, yo, man, I heard what you said about Scoop. Come on, you know, dude was young. He was in his 20s. You know, like, let's do a braai one day. Like, come over to the house. Let's braai to meet. You know, we meet up, we link up. Conversations change. That's how I think you suit things with all these gatekeepers, you know, because even when you go to the club and you meet some of these homies that work for these agencies, the things they tell you when they tips you or they drunk, that's where you know, that's why I'm not, that's why I was removed from that deal. That's why this didn't happen, because of what happened way back in the Durban July. This dude is still holding on to that.
Damn.
It's crazy, but gatekeepers are there in the highest level, and if you want to move up the room, those are the people that are going to hold you back.
I definitely tick that box with you when you said that the fans will let you into the room, you'll be in the playlist, but that next level, you are right about that, dog. Ushisa be estradweni, but the next level I feel.
And that's the tricky thing, because everyone's trying to make the money. Because you can be hot on the streets and not see the money because you're just like, oh, okay, everyone's streaming my. But all I'm getting is just a young club performance. Yeah, nah, I'm not making that like corporate money.
And that's in a very uncomfortable position to be in when your buzz is louder than the bank account.
Yeah.
That frustrates you.
Yeah.
And everybody in this game has gone through it.
Yeah.
Then when you realize you need to change it, and some change it, some don't. But when the noise is louder than the coins, you should let brands.
We need to. I think in the hip hop community, especially, we need more of the hip hop scholars. We need more of the Benzas. We need more of
Even they got gatekeep. Hip hop scholar.
Yeah.
Bamvalela yena selufu, ngaphandle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a dude like that, with the mouth that he has and the ideas that he has, he should have a lot more stake.
Yeah.
But even when he gets to places, he realizes that they're not hiring me to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Avaye naye.
Yeah.
Come on.
You know, so it's tough, guys. It's tough. Like, best believe me, like it's tough. You know, it's
Benzo
tough.
did ask for an interview for Pop Radio.
I mean,
5th season, we definitely gonna talk to you.
I mean, we're about to make it happen, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also just kind of, I guess it's similarly still on the same kind of conversation, but even then, because it also comes to a point of like, okay, who gets to the next level? Then that's where I think the comparison of artists kind of comes in, because then it says, okay, sharp. Now we're sitting back, we've got room to let somebody back in, or we've got room to allow somebody into the room.
Yeah.
And then now we start kind of pitting people against each other. And I know hip hop does this a lot because maybe it's the game and it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I think the fans also have the power to kind of do that because they're the ones who kind of drive the wedge between certain brands and things like that. But what also kind of comes in is, do we think it's healthy for us to continue doing that where artists just want to get the music out? And here you are saying, when you're not better than this person because uflopeng aloko, you know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out, is that a form of gatekeeping on its own? Because who actually then holds the power in that space as well? Is it still the fans?
I think music is a sport at the end of the day. Just yesterday on Instagram, myself and Noto were going back to back in a comment section.
Ooh, why did you do that to yourself?
You know, so he put up a post and he said, you know, Sarkodie is one of the most overhyped rappers out there. I was like, get the out of here. You know what I mean? And then he said, you know, the best rapper to come out of Ghana is Manifest. And as we're going back and forth to the conversation, I was like, but that's what happens when you start comparing artists. It's a definite. Manifest might be a better lyric MC and an MC that you might understand because you fully get English. Sarkodie comes through with the twee. He does his thing. He's able to accommodate a bigger audience. But who is an overall artist? And that happens a lot. You might be the most talented artist in the room, but what else do you have that the other artist doesn't have? You know, because talent is not enough. Like,
It's
you know,
just
talent will
not.
get you in, but are you putting in the work? Are you pushing yourself to the next level? Are you doing big shows? Are you signing these bags? Are you signing these deals? So I think comparison will always be there. That's why we got to the AK and Casper situation.
It happens in sports.
Yeah.
It happens, it happens every day.
You know, we almost had that big beef between A-Reese and Nasty C
And
because
Nasty.
we were the ones comparing these dudes.
Nah.
You know what I mean? Like, this one is better than that one. I think it's important.
I like it.
I love it.
I like
man.
it.
Yeah.
I think it's very necessary because it lets people know, first of all, when you're getting compared with someone, you kind of can gauge how dope you are.
And where they place you.
You understand?
Exactly.
You know? You might lose that battle or whatever, but it's like if I'm being compared to a top-rate artist, I'm just like, oh, I'm here now. Cool. The other thing I thought was interesting was when you said, "Ukomberama artist," and get back to the gatekeeping and going to the next level. A dope artist will not have the paper because he can't get to that next level because it's being gate-kept. A whack artist then gets the checks. And I feel like sometimes with the audience, I think the audience finds it hard to then say who's dope because they can't look past the money.
You're right.
So it's hard for the audience to say, Usman Bani, who doesn't have the car that Usman Bani has, who doesn't have the advert deal, is doper than them. You know what I mean? And this is like, I find it very like interesting, and it happens a lot where a dope artist doesn't get their props because they just don't have the money like the person who has a campaign.
And you're right, because that kind of also then speaks to the brand, because then they're like, but this person did that deal, this person did this deal. And you find that that's what people kind of pin it to, because
MTV-based top 10 list?
I was about to say that. I was literally about to mention that as well, to say, that argument also got so far purely because people said this person did this deal, this person did that, that person had access to this. And it's like, yeah, but what about the music? We're talking about them as MCs. We're talking about them as artists. We're not talking about the type of deals that they sign. The deals are dope. I'm not saying that we need to disregard it.
Yeah.
But like you're mentioning is that what does that have to do with the actual artistry?
Yeah.
And do we allow them in because of the fact that they know somebody who got them a deal?
They are artists that I truly respect. Like, as much as they're fully aware of their power, they don't go around taking every deal that comes their way. You know? You know, like, for example, J. Cole doesn't sign every offer that comes his way.
Yeah.
For me, A-Reese is one artist at the present moment who has influence, has power. Dude can tweet a full stop. He could probably get like 50,000 likes. You know, that's power, and he's fully aware of it. And I'm just loving how silently he's controlling his power and the narrative around it. And how hard it is to get a hold of him. You know, a part of me enjoys that. But at the same time, like, if only maybe he had a totally different team, but then he puts them to the same conversation like all the other artists are signing all these bags. So I truly appreciate the curiosity around him. The only way to get to know what's happening to him is through his music. But at the same time, it goes back what you were saying, talking about artists that sign everything. There are some artists who just sign everything because it's nice to collect as many bags as you can. But there are artists who are playing the long game, you know. And I think Reese is just one of those dudes who, when he takes that first bag or any collaboration he will do with any big brand, it might be a heavy one.
Do you think that would work to an artist's detriment?
What?
Just like signing whatever checks that come in your direction. Because, you know, a lot of people speak about brand loyalty and they talk about, no, stick to your lane, do what speaks to your brand. Don't do it just because it's a check or whatever. How do you think that translates? I understand from a business perspective why brands would say brand loyalty. But I'm talking from a fan perspective. I'm sitting back and I'm watching you collect all these bags. I'm like, oh, I know he's getting all the checks. But does it really like, does it filter your brand? Does it dilute it? Does it
I think it
your brand?
obviously benefits the artist because of the bag, and he's seen as successful, and his name ring bells in all these offices. I think it's a great one. What I think it actually up on is the brand itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's like, I hate it when brands all go to one person. And even if this person...
But they all do that.
Right?
Yeah.
And even if this person isn't about this brand, they just chuck it on them.
Yeah.
The messaging isn't sincere. The tweets aren't sincere, or the posts aren't sincere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I brand.
But you see, that's the thing, is that now it also, when you see when it's not sincere, it's very evident.
Yeah.
Similarly to the brand campaign that happened this past week, where they tweeted about labantwana ma-Uber, abantwana ba, I think on the one or something like that. But it was just like bad messaging.
Sure.
And everyone was just like, hey, we understand you want to work with B, sharp, give her your checks, but do it properly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe from that perspective, we can see through the...
Yeah.
But then I guess I just worry about whether we can really see it as fans to be like, you see here, this person was just trying to make money and not necessarily think about how they were taking it to the next level.
Showcase.
Yeah.
Do you think that also pushes them back sometimes for them to also not get to another space in their careers because of it?
I don't think so.
Nah.
I think we're thinking about it too deep. I do. I don't think the artists, if they could endorse 3 beers at the same time, these would. You know what I mean? Like, they don't care, you know? And that's on them. That's on them. But I don't think they care. For them, it's like, this music ain't selling. Shows are not happening.
Yeah.
Whatever comes my way, I'm collecting because I don't even know what it's going to be like next month.
Yeah.
You know? But like I said, I always look at the brands. I'm like, dude.
I guess it's also that hand-to-mouth mentality that's also affecting the artists, because they're like, okay, well, I've got this for the next 6 weeks. Let me rock, and then I'll see what happens 6 weeks after that. You know what I mean? And that's why, maybe because of how short campaigns end up becoming, that's why then they'll dabble and they'll play around and they'll do different things. You know
but I think also artists need to be honest with themselves. And that's one thing I've always appreciated about Ricky. Ricky, when he did the deal, told us, I don't drink the product.
Yeah.
I was buying that bottle. You know what I mean? Because when you're honest, man, you're not taking me for a fool. Like, I truly appreciate that. Like, when an artist comes forward and says, yo, this is what's happening, I'll make a song about it. I'll give subliminals here and there. Honesty goes a long way, because once everything falls through or it doesn't work out, we knew.
Yeah.
You know, we knew from the onset. But now if you're going to come through and you just take everything, we're like, dog, since when are you vegan? You're doing like stupid deals just for the sake of a bag. Like you can't be, on my end, you can't be doing 2 vodka brands in 1 year. It
doesn't make sense.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let one die out and then the next year you can do another one. Like, it's just got to be organic. Like, we invested in your brand. Like, we're freaking using our data to check out your... The least you can do is respect your friends, your fans.
Showcase.
That's so dope.
Sorry, I wanted to touch on something, Sabby, that we haven't talked about, but you keep mentioning it and your knowledge keeps coming out in this thing, and I keep remembering that you had a feature on your radio show where you focused on continental music.
Yeah.
You know, we have a feature on pop radio that is really going because I'm not that well clued up. And I remember you had this feature. How did that go, and like what made you do that? And
Africa?
How did that enrich your shandies?
Man, like, for me, how it started was just like how P Squared was dominating the world. It was 2005, I think, or somewhere there. It's like, these dudes are just killing it. Like, how are they doing it? Like, they probably have similar resources to what our artists have, but these dudes are able to touch down in LA and do crazy things, do China and do crazy things. So I started watching more Channel O, watching MTV and just streaming all this stuff. And then you immerse yourself in how they move around the room. And yeah, from there onwards, I started listening to more music in different parts of the continent.
How are you getting the numbers? Because you would call them telephonic interviews.
Yeah.
I listen to your show.
I still do it now, man. Like now, shout out to Metro. They're allowing me to bring that energy onto the platform. And for me, it's very important for us to start engaging, man. When I had a chat with Ice for the first time, he's like, bro, we're only a few hours away from one another. You know, dudes are quick to run to the UK, run to all these other foreign countries, but they don't come home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, come to Nigeria, let's hang out, let's do music. You know, at the time he was talking about how the Les was one of the artists who frequently was chatting to him and would have great conversations. Les would come out to Nigeria, they would have fun, do a few things. You look at what's happening out in Ghana, the Sarkodis out there. Jabba was one of those artists who really immersed himself in West Africa, did so many things in different parts of the continent, collabs with, I think it was EL, there's MI, I can go on and on and on. It's very important for us to start dominating the continent.
Yeah.
I genuinely feel. That's why I remember once I stood in for you, Scoop, and I had a simple conversation on the air. I asked the people, it's like, yo, who's the most decorated rapper in the continent? And people was just mentioning South African rappers, Casper, AKA. And when I said Sarkodie, it was like,
Who's that?
Who's that? And I think we need to start teaching each other about that, because the crazy thing, these dudes know who's hot in South Africa.
That's true, bro.
You know, you
They're
go...
always paying attention to what we're doing. I think that's the crazy part. I mean, even the likes of Kuli Chana, who did that One Source album as well.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really... I was hoping that album also would have opened up South Africans to hearing a little bit more.
Sure.
But one thing I've realized is that we're also kind of closed off if we're not afraid with somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think we also need to kind of broaden up, which is why I wanted it to be part of pop radio, so that we can open ourselves up to seeing what else is happening on the continent, because we can't just be focusing on only what's happening in South Africa.
You look at how Vic Mensa guys touched down in Africa. That dude did so much work while he was on holiday.
Yeah.
Did Ghana, did mad features in Ghana. He's got a big song right now, Blessings with Stonebwoy. Did something, I think, with Kwesi Arthur. Touched down with all the important people out in Ghana, if I can put it like that. I don't know if it did Nigeria. Nadia flew out. They shot that video.
Yeah.
He came down here in South Africa. So he had a session with Seho.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much that went on while he was here. I think now he's headed back to the US. He's just dropped that work. He's got with Chance the Rapper.
Sure.
For me, that is work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But he's on vacay at the same time.
Vacay at the same time. You got yourself one of the flyest hands in South Africa. Like, for me, like, that's some crazy PR moves.
Which accounts do you follow for the African content, dog? If you can share.
Oh, I hit up. Sorry, I hit up. But check out Pulse Nigeria. I think they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Check out OK Africa. I think they do a great job. Check out All
City
Africa.
as well.
Sound City also, they're doing amazing stuff.
Thank you, bro.
I think it's very important, man. It's very important for all of us to start understanding that the game is bigger than us.
Yeah.
Like the game, like the South African market, like as much as we have the resources, dudes fly in here to shoot videos, to do interviews and do all the stuff, because aesthetically we pleasing. We got the sauce, but they come through with the dollars, man. I've seen an artist, true story. They pulled up on set late. They were supposed to shoot their video for like 7 hours or so. The director came through, started complaining about time. Said, please don't do that. We need to get into the zone when we shoot. You know what I mean? He went back to his room, pulled out a bag of cash, said, relax. When we want to work, we'll work. You know what I mean? For me, it's like, let us get into the zone because they were chatting to everyone. You know, you create that energy with everyone.
Sure.
You know, because I've been on several sets and the artists will come through.
Yeah.
Gabanda.
You haven't slept. It's early.
You know,
Like, it's a lot.
It's bad. And also we need to talk about how they treat vixens on these videos, but that's a conversation for another day. You know, vixens don't chow. Vixens, guys, they mistreated on these videos. They'll probably have to share a box of pizza. It's bad how some vixens
and
are treated.
And they're the ones who are like doing the most work because they're not dressed.
Yeah.
They're forced to be in a pool even though it's like 10 degrees outside. They, like you're saying, they don't feed them enough. They probably just ship them in with an Uber and then they say you'll find your own way home. There's so much mistreatment that happens on video sets.
It's so crazy.
So much.
I've realized that when I go to artists from different parts of the continent, when they shoot here, the treatment is different for the vixens. Here at home, it's, Joe, you are my KFC, if you're fortunate enough, but the treatment is different, you know what I mean? But also it might be the artist's budget, but I think the treatment of these vixens has to change. But not to digress, but I think let's treat the ladies well on set. There's a big conversation, man, in terms of how we need to connect and do more as the continent. Especially the fact that everyone functions in dollars, we function in rands. Get your dollar up.
Get your dollars up. But I do think it does start with the music because that's also how we can kind of connect and how we can hopefully allow our fans to also then get in tune with what's happening on the continent. Like I mentioned, I was hoping that One Soul's album would have tractioned way more in South Africa for us to open up a little bit more. But obviously we pay attention to it because we're in the industry, but I'm talking about the actual listeners themselves. Shout outs to Rouge. She also just dropped a brand new single.
What was going on with Ebro?
I think he gave her a shout out for her single that she just dropped. It's called WhatsApp Group.
Sure.
She's featuring Sakode and Wasupa. I think that's how you pronounce it. Wasupa. Really dope song. That's also coming off of her album. She did say her album, she's trying to make it more continental.
Yes,
so I'm hoping it's going to take a bigger direction. But obviously, this is a first taste of what we're going to get from her. And
she moves amazingly.
And I'm hoping people will start paying attention to what she's doing because it is intentional.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And that's what I like is that she's literally focusing and saying, okay, Sharp, I see you. But now I'm trying to, let's take it to the next level. How do we get there? And we allow certain things to kind of like filter in only because we understand them from a global level. For instance, like how Foka did the feature with Davido. Amazing feature. But now for us, it's like, okay, who else can we play? Because there are different artists in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Tanzania, who want that collaboration. We can't only focus on the top 3 that we see, that the rest of the world sees.
Sure.
When are we also then going to then unite as a continent and say, Kamumpela featuring, I don't know, Diamond Platinums, or maybe these, or different artists that are happening throughout the continent, you know?
Guys,
can we talk about Gamo?
Yo, guys.
Can we just unravel that topic one time?
When Gamo went to, I think she was in Ghana.
Yeah. Or was it Nigeria?
Nigeria. Yes.
For me, that's the power. Like, you know, you have to touch down in these countries because we're online. People know who Gamo is. People know who Focalistic is. You know, people know who Miss Cosmo is, who Scoop is. When you touch down and, you know, you reach out to these dudes, you know, it becomes a personal trip. And you come up with so much work, you know what I mean, when you come back from these countries. And the following day is insane. It's insane. We watched Foca's numbers, bro. Like, I remember when Foca went to Nigeria, I think Nigeria or Ghana, he had like probably like 700,000 or 600,000. And he started posting up a few videos. I think it was with Makhathini in studio. Then he was with David chilling over there.
Yeah.
Literally,
When he came back, he was on 8 something. Now he's on 1 million.
Even Gamo, she dropped a song. She was not, I don't know what numbers she was doing. I think it was a 500K or something. As soon as the song hit, a trend, I go YouTube, million views, million Instagram.
Yes.
Like, whoa. And then she took young Stilo to Kenya, to Nigeria. It's always nice when you see the young kids coming
working
out.
together.
You understand?
Yeah.
So, man, like, big ups to Kamumpele. Like, she really something. Really, really something.
She's next. She's definitely hot. Like the Doritos. That's why we're taking a break.
I like that flag. But that's the power of collaboration. I'm loving like what Scoop just said right now. Power of collaboration. You know, the 031 Choppers and D Kaula, I think they just put out a song. Blackie.
Blackie's putting in so much work.
Guys,
do you know
Is he signed to anybody?
I think he's independent. But do you know how many songs of his I've played on the radio in one show where I sat there, I was like, this might as well be the Blackie show because
Is it features?
It's a feature, it's single, it's feature. I'm just like, I know, we are Spana. And I like that. I keep up the work rate, my brother. We need to see that.
I love how he's owned his darkness. I love how he's owned his alternative beauty. I love how he can be bilingual. I love how he's on his own vibe. Durban is really, really got in the water, you know, and him, Lucas Raps, Nasty, you know, it's just crazy, man. It's really crazy. And I was talking to Nasty C, who's in Atlanta, by the way.
Yeah, with Snoop, did you see that?
Saw that, you know, but it's also like, yo, that's crazy. I was talking to him and I was asking him like, because I do hear the influence of Nasty in Blackie. I do hear the influence of a Nasty and a Lucas, but they're doing it in their own way. So I asked him, are you good with these boys? Like, yo, those are my dudes. And he did put them on the tour last year. And just to see, I didn't know Blackie. When I even saw them on the fly, I'm like, ubani ntwana. Ayabona manje boy, abona somnyamana. Real name, I think is Sihle. Ay ntwana unswembu. I actually DM'd him and I'm like, ntwana, I just want to feel this energy and this time who it is, you know? And I think that as much as we were talking about Vinny and how it's time for the trampoline to come and him to move differently into the next space, Blackie, the music run is hot. We established that. It's like, for me, I want to see where it goes after this.
Yeah, and I think he also got that Vic Mensa feature.
He did. He did. He did?
Oh,
he did. You see Aries, dog.
Nah, this is too much. This is too much.
You know, I know Aries is going to get something big that's going to be monumental, right? The waiting for that is what makes us anxious. You know? It's like, man.
It's because I think we all truly know how freaking amazing he is. And the
we
world
know the potential.
needs, we all just want the world to hear this. It's like, can someone just take him, put him there, and let the world just hear his talent?
I did an interview with the International magazine. I think it was Flaunt magazine.
Okay.
I was like, okay, you know. But I do feel like with all this international attention that South Africa's got, somebody overseas, his name is coming up. More often than not. And it's only a matter of time till someone does call him and he picks up.
And it's also testament to the fact that he is an internet kid. And because that's what people look to now for new content, that's why they're paying attention. And obviously, the talent speaks for itself. So shout outs to that. We really are just waiting to see what next level we're gonna see him jump into.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're behind him 110%. All right, so thank you, gentlemen.
Oh, man.
How could I forget? I think a lot of people were also even tweeting this past week. They're saying, I didn't even know who he was. We just heard Les giving him a shout out on All Eyes on Me. But we do have to pay our respects to Gran Shikwane, who passed away this past week, a radio legend. And I think the three of us being radio presenters also kind of, it hits home because he was one of those people we listened to growing up. You know what I mean? You've just joined the Metro family, so you also understand the level of Gran Shikwane.
Kim Wilson Binkosi.
Dude.
You couldn't go wrong on a Sunday, you know? Still can't with Wilson, but Grandi, the crazy thing was Gran Shikwane, I don't know what he looks like. His voice, I can tell you in my sleep, that's Grant. But but I know we will see a lot of memorial service photos and things like that so we can put a face to the voice. But yeah, man, he was a very big part of my musical knowledge outside of hip hop with the soul sounds. Definitely.
Yeah, man. Definitely lost the radio legend in him. And and I think it also shows that with music, it's not necessarily just about rapping about like random. Like sometimes there is a bit of knowledge that goes into it. And when people hear Les just like saying things like this and people are just like, Hautin Manju Les, there's your history lesson.
He gave a shout out to the owner of Huzu.
Yes, R.I.P. Aldo, Mr. Huzu. Shikwane.
Kenny Main
Kenny
Street,
Main
dog.
Street.
Because now we in the mainstream.
Mafuta Jams.
That's crazy. Even Mafuta
Yeah,
Jams.
yeah.
He gave a shout out to all the big legends of his time. And I think sometimes we shouldn't laugh, but rather just kind of investigate before we, make a comment and say, why was he mentioning these names? Who are these people? Why are they so important to him? Because they all played a part in who he is as an artist.
Yes.
Because every artist knows, if you didn't know Aldo, Mr. Who's Who, you weren't gigging at that club. Do you know what I mean? Grant Shikwane, obviously musical legend, Kenny Maestro as well. So just take a moment, listen out and understand where the history lies in the music.
Showcase.
Yeah, man. All right, so with that, we are going to say thank you so much to DJ Sabby.
It's a pleasure.
By the
man.
way,
Thank you
he's
very
the
much.
only guest that's bought us coffee. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, dude, this is really, really nice of you. So thank you very much, dog.
pleasure,
It
man.
really, really helped. And it got us thinking of getting
A little something. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Thank you so much, Sabby. Where can people
pleasure.
follow you? What are you up to besides, obviously, the new show? Because you
Yeah.
got that Metro money now.
We national, baby.
you deserve it, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, bro.
I still feel like they should have put you money to Friday, but you're going to get
He's
there.
gonna get
Yeah,
there.
Don't
no,
get there.
it's going to happen. God's time, God's plan. I almost said stuff that I shouldn't say. Let's just wait. But I got music coming out this year. I'm so excited to be back in the lab making music. My brand coming back in the streets, get paid. If you want these sweaters, I had to wear one, man. I'm on the POPcast.
You got it, dog. You
Plug,
got
baby.
it. You got it.
So yeah, look out for these sweaters, man. This is just all about the fact that you hustle till you dead, till you grind. That's why I got a scar here. Yeah, man. What else? Radio 9 to 12, 9 to 1 on Metro.
Sundays, Saturdays?
Saturday.
Sure.
That's on Metro. Saturday, counting down 40 of the biggest songs. Literally, like, it's the only chart show that matters in the country. The numbers back it up. Guys, I got like 1.4 million. It's insane. It's wild. But yeah, man, I'm working on getting back on TV. Literally, to all the casting directors, I got time. I got 5 days a week.
Maybe they gate kept you out.
Yeah. No, the problem with most of the shows I was auditioning for is because on why. I can tell you the truth. Several shows, especially within the ACBC, if you like, I don't know what happened, but at some point, like if you're on Y, you couldn't get a job within the
100%.
ACBC, so you can gig like on DSTV or gig on ETV. So now that I'm within the ACBC, I can't wait to see
What's gonna
happen in my career on TV.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about
Tell
that.
you one thing, you're definitely going to be a guest on, what's the DJ show?
Pop radio. Huh?
No, the DJ show that Speedy and
Ones and Twos.
Yeah, ones and twos.
Ones and twos.
Bazokhala lapha, bazokubiza lapha. Then Soapy 1, 2, 3 nyana generation. Is it called generations, guys?
It's
Yeah,
just
still
a
there.
phone.
Still there.
It
Yeah.
ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, still there. But yeah, man, we just keep moving, doing more of this. I got my season 2 of Behind the Mic coming through. Check that out on my channel, The Best Live TV. We just hit 1 million views. So I'm excited about that, man. So Behind the Mic is where I hang out with some of my favorite DJs. I got a few more shows to come. So I'm excited, man.
Nice,
like we just
Sabby.
work. I got 5 more days
Nice, Sabby.
to do more, man. You
Nice.
know? Yeah.
Shout out, DJ Sabby. Also, shout out to the Hip Hop Museum for having us today. Like I mentioned, when you've got some time, when you're not buying and drinking on the weekend, do something more cultural with your time. Come through to Museum Africa and come and check out the plaques that are on the wall here. Very important for us to also just pay homage and understand where hip hop comes from so that you know where you're going if you are, especially an artist.
Yeah.
You know? My brother Scoop,
Calling it.
we're calling it. Shout outs to Doritos. They'll be back with us again next
Yes,
week.
sir.
I think
Feature for fire.
I think I need to create a challenge for Scoop for the next episode
Yeah, think about it.
because it's Flamin Hot. It's not. I'm enjoying it, but two brothers who weak.
I mean,
So
we got cool dog. Yeah.
If you want to up the taste with that one, you can dip them in sour cream and chives.
oh,
Yeah. So it'll
okay.
they'll tame
next
the
show.
chili a little.
Yeah, but my challenge is coming. So watch the next podcast episode. You'll see what Scoop is gonna have to deal with. Because we're flaming hot on these streets of the podcast. Don't you worry. Stick around. We still have the social tonton as well as the thread counts.
Bye-bye.
What up? So we're back here on the social tonton right here on the POPcast, bringing you some flaming hot stories that were happening this past week. And one flaming hot story that I saw on the socials this past week, which makes me a little worried about what you guys actually get up to on the weekend. Apparently, there was a driver who drove his car through the News Cafe in Rosebank, all because he was trying to get his girlfriend back. And she apparently is one of the waitresses who work in the establishment. And she refused to walk out and talk to him. I don't know. You guys tend to take things to the top, huh? But ke, Jolani, guys.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to it. It's another edition of Third Count Abaku POPcast. Crazy lendo yembasha asicinga ngo-2021, especially now in this season, because no one knows what type of weather we'll be encountering. So actually, e-shop will have winter stock right now, but no one is buying it because akubandi elo hlobo. Although Joburg is getting a little colder in the mornings and the evening, we're waiting for that winter because I know how you guys love layering up. Got a couple of items for you from two labels. We've featured the first one. The second one, it's the first time here. Let me start with the first one, Dope Store. He's now come with some cargo pants that I think are an essential for summer, winter, autumn, spring, all weather. I don't know what he calls this material, but it's very durable, almost like rainproofy. And I love the construction of this here cargo pant. I think it could be put through so many trials and tribulations and it'll come out fine at the end. Love the branding and also what he says. He says, the highest quality products designed for champions of life. That's dope. It makes me think about Human Made, which is the label that Nigo and Pharrell started after Bape and BBC and Ice Cream. And their slogan is clothes for futuristic teenagers. So using positive slogans and not just relying on swag and drip, but actually using positive slogans to infuse a sort of feeling about you wearing this clothes or wanting to put the clothes on. Love that. That's dope. Literally, the label's dope and it's dope anyway. Then the other piece I've got for you is this tracksuit pants, which comes with a jacket and a hat, but I couldn't find it in my wardrobe. So please excuse me. But DZ, ding, there's the cutaway, guys. There's the full set. But let's get back to the pants. Now, Lena, windbreakery, rainproof, tracksuit, anorak material, very light, but also very durable. And what I love about this, I'll get back to that later. First of all, let me start off with that pocket. I always love things with pockets because we always just need to keep things on us, right? Power banks, chargers, phones, tsasa, whatever it is. This is the way to go right here. Then this is an added feature I really love on this tracksuit pants. They've actually got a zipper that goes all the way up. Let me see if it's on both sides. No, it's only on one side. I just love it. You know, as a basketball player, we always used to have these rip away pants or zipper pants. And I just love the detail. So if you want it to be a little bit looser, a little bit more bell-bottomy, you can hook it up with the zipper. I really would have preferred it if it was on both sides, but you did your job, Billy. And then another alternative to the longs, Dope Store, are these shorts. Personally love them because the cargo pants always come in the regular green, brown, and black colorways. So I love it when we have these other colors. They usually come in blue, they usually come in gray, black, and white, and then the pinks and the purples. But this right here, I'm all for this. And the fact that you have the same detail that you have on the pants, the construction stays the same. All you really did, Scotch, was cut the pants in half. And I really, really like that. You kept the same detail and the same work on the shorts. Nice one. Billy, Desire Piece, once again. I mean, you've seen his two pieces. They have been all over the internet like a Uncle Vinny party last night. They all over your timeline. He got different pieces, different colorways. This is just one of the sets. This is the top. And this is the bottom. We are specialized like a Billy lifestyle. Gamma, two-piece with Desire. You can check him out on his page. and really do support local. Showcase. Like, colorway,